Hey, welcome to, oh boy, fantastic time with me as we go through the mirror moment, magnificent comeback. For you, though, going through a divorce, right? And when you're going through a divorce, man, it's not, you're not just losing the people around you, you're losing the relationship, you're losing the part of your life that it's like, for many of us like me, that you never thought you would be facing, right? And all the things that go around that. But I want to talk to you tonight about something that we are very, very excited about sharing with you, something that I used years ago and helped over the years many other people, right? That were like, oh man, in the beginning of the divorce, trying to save it, doing everything possible, right? Everything possible to save it. And for whatever reason, it just couldn't come back together. So then what do? You're stuck with the beginning to let go. I mean, there's phases in it, and I wrote those down, right? You're letting go of those things. And realizing letting go and letting go are two different things, right? And for some of us, it takes a long time. I remember the feelings about it. It was not easy for me to get to that point. First, you realize it, and then you have to begin the process, right? There's two pieces in that thing, right? This has got to stop. I can't do this anymore, right? And then begin to do some things differently. And once you begin that process, man, the healing, before the healing is the suffering of the loss, the grieving process, right? So this message today, this webinar today, I'm kind of giving you a layout. Right. For those of you that stopped in and you heard, what do you mean don't give up on yourself? What is he talking about? For those of you that stopped in here, right, talking about that divorce process, the three things. And then the fourth and most important piece of it, once you have realized, hey, I can't do this anymore, you begin to start the letting go process. You see it as necessary, then you begin some practices, and then you take that step. And you walk through it, you crawl through it, you roll through it, you suffer through it, however it might be for you. Listen, I know it's not easy. But I want you to know I qualify. Right? And by the way, my name is Jeff Tyson, affectionately known as the Comeback King and host of this webinar, The Mirror Moment, the Magnificent Comeback, for those of you going through this process that I'm sharing with you right now. Right? That life is kind of upside down. And hold on. Let's take this conversation together, right? And I want to thank Comeback King Enterprises for putting this together and offering all these different programs and resources around healing, pathways to extraordinary love. Oh, man. Pathways to extraordinary love. Because I'm going to tell you something. No matter how you're feeling right now, as bad as it gets, it does get better. And you can get better, right? So I want to welcome you to the next 60 minutes, maybe less, probably less, where we talk about this process. And a couple of things, though, I need you to help me out with before we get started. Number one, when you come in and you hear this, drop in the comments where you're from, what phase you might be in, or you may know somebody that's in this different phase, whatever that piece of it is for you. So what are you going to do? You're going to say, hey, Jeff, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so, or just, DM me if you want to keep it private. I believe in respecting the process for you, whatever that looks like, right? So however you got to do it. And then as we go through this thing, I want you to kind of, don't just listen. I want you to be thinking about what we're talking about. I want you to be seeing yourself in the picture, right, of what we're talking about. And then, man, my promise, my promise is this: you don't have to be ready for this message for it to work. Right? Man, listen, we just want to stay connected, right? You have someone that understands. You understand yourself. I know you do. But man, once I got to the point where I could open myself up to others and got an understanding of the gift of a community and some stuff like that, it was just game changing. Right, so my promise to you is this. It's going to be safe. It's going to be caring, compassionate, but it's going to challenge you a little bit, right? We got to pull you back a little bit to make you hear what I'm saying, right? Sometimes we got to disrupt the common ground before we can get to the next level. So there's going to be some of that. If that's okay, can I have permission now, right? Please give me the permission now to do that. Because the goal ultimately, the goal is always about creating a space for you where you can finally figure out how to stop the spiral and find some peace one more time. Oh boy, when I realized that, man, what I was doing to myself, trying to say something that, she was honest with me and all those things, but I wanted to do what I could do and all that because, we had a great relationship in marriage, man. Things happen in life. People get kind of lean away from each other, but we're still there, man. I enjoyed what we had. Right? So blowing that thing up, man, was painful. I wasn't happy about it, right? Oh man, how can I fix it? You might be happy. You're like, man, thank God I'm away from that person, whoever that person might be. I mean, it's all the way in between that. So you're over here, like I said, trying to save something that, if it's the only way you can save it, that's all you wanted to do. Or you're trying to get away from it, right? You're grateful on the other side. There's no real grieving process. You've already grieved. You've already lost, right? So now you're ready for some solutions. You're in the right spot. So what are you going to do? Let me know where you're from. Let me know what resonates. Participate in the chat. All right, so let's get going here. Let's get going on this thing called, man, I'm going to work through these slides together, and I'm going to talk to you about some things, ask you some questions, and then please be honest with me about how you feel. All right, let's go. So first thing, welcome again to the mirror moment, right? That moment in your life. People say, well, what's the mirror moment? That moment when you're like, you can see clearly that something needs to change, and you're ready for that, right? The mirror moment is 3-step challenge to start your healing process. And I've kind of laid out where you are in these places, in one of these 3 places, right? So 3 steps. Again, my name is Jeff Tyson, the Comeback King and Comeback King Enterprises founder, and we are excited about this messaging and how we can help you, right? So here we go. Now listen, I'm going to ask you that as these slides come up, I'm going to say something to you that might feel a little personal, but I want you to just understand this is how I felt too, right? This is what was going on in my mind, right? And it wasn't always right. So anyway, it's not a judgment thing, man. It's just kind of nudging you, right? So can we do that? All right, so first one. All right, so we already know who I am, the mirror moment and all that stuff. So who is this for? Man, so think about this as I'm reading these things to you, and read them yourself too, but if you've been, and then fill in the blanks. I just listed some things on here that might or may or may not resonate with you, may not even fit with where you are. You might have something totally different than that. And if you do, drop it in the comment section if you feel willing to do that, right? If you've been replaying everything you said, going back through all the things that you wish you could have done differently, going back all the things that you wish you hadn't said. How many of us say things we like, oh man, did I really say that? Ooh, right? Get hung by the tongue, baby. That's a powerful book, by the way. If you go out and find it, Hung by the Tongue. And sometimes it hurts. And everything you wish you would have said. Those moments, fellas, in particular, when we are thinking something, feeling something, but pride is in the way, ego is in the way, and we're stuck, right? And that moment passes, and then another moment passes, and then things start to stack on you. Trying to fix this thing alone, right? I got it. I don't need any help. That's me. I don't need any help. Why feelings more invisible every day? Losing yourself right in front of yourself. Suffering in silence, potentially. What is it for you? Who is this for? Is this you've been? Fill in the blanks, man. I really want you to think about this stuff. You may listen to this and never connect with me or whatever it might be, but I want you to think about what I'm talking to you about. Swing between fight for it, like I've already talked about, everything you can, putting everything in, all your focus, all your energy, all whatever it costs to, I can't do this anymore. And that bridge from what I just said to I can't do it anymore. If you've been in this space, then stay with me, right? Losing sleep, that's a clear indication, right? Losing sleep, focus, all in the cloud, just kind of going through the motions of life, disconnected from the things that are important because you're devastated, potentially, or joyful that it's over, and everything in between there. Or you're really at the point where it's like, you're realizing it's over and I don't know who I am on the other side. In other words, you've been in a marriage for a long time or a short time, or whatever. You've been a husband or a wife or whatever you've been. And now that piece of your life is over. I talked about it at the beginning, man. I think I talked about, your lifestyle, relationships changing and all that stuff. Where are you? If you've been, let me know. Put it in the comment section, right? So I'm going to start with a simple question. When was the last time? When was the last time you really, I want you to think about this. When was the last time you were like, told yourself the real truth? You were able to face the fact that, hey, I'm choosing to try and save this thing, but it's really kicking my butt. I go home every day disappointed. I hang up the phone disappointed or angry or I'm frustrated because you've already been told no. But you keep trying anyway. Or both of you are trying for a little while. And it just keeps sending back. And look, if you haven't got help in this piece of it, this phase of it, because I am not a psychiatrist or any of that marriage counselor. So if you have not done this, I'm not talking, I'm just sharing experience. Get you some help. If you really want to, both of you really want to, go get some help, man. Okay. No mask. So you told yourself the truth. With no mask, no disguise. Right? And you realize that you've been in, so you go into the gym, now you're going, guys, I'm going to get back in shape, get ready for the ladies, whatever that piece might be for you. So you go back to the gym, or ladies, right? We all get in the gym exercising, getting our groove on, or buying new things that make us feel better, or eating special things, or whatever that might be. I'm good doing these things, but is it really working? Has it really worked for you? Maybe it did at first, but is it really working for you now? And the real question is, have you been able to say lately, this is how I'm really feeling when somebody asks you that? Have you been brave enough to say that? Do you have a circle of influence that you're comfortable enough saying that? Right? The mirror. If you don't have anybody else, baby, the mirror is the magic. Look in the mirror, have a conversation with self. Right? Everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got access to a mirror, piece of glass. Man, I'm taking away the excuses for people that feel like they, like I did, just stuck. Stop it. Right? Anyway, in order to heal, I need to. This is what we think. Well, hey, in order for me to heal, because this is what we've learned from other people or what we've seen from other folks, but we haven't really pursued folks that are good at this, skilled at this. So I'm just talking about what I needed to heal is I just need to drop, I just needed to be stronger. I just need to, people ask you something wrong, nothing, I'm fine. Just be stronger, be that wall, right? That rigid wall that everything bounces off of, but it doesn't really. Our bodies absorb everything we hear, everything we feel, everything we see. It's absorbed in our bodies, in our fibers. And it gets processed. It goes to the thinking factory. It goes to the doubt factory. It goes to the self-destructive conversation factory. And we manufacture stories, man. Woo! We manufacture stories in every one of those factories. So everything on here, being stronger, working harder, that just goes into denial factory or self-destructive factories. It just continues on and on and on and on, right? Only one thing on there that makes sense is pray more. For those of you who believe in God and prayer. Or meditate more for those of you that don't. I mean, those two pieces work. This other stuff, I want you to think about. In order to heal, I need to do these things. Is it really working for you? While it may be true, it's the other side of what we're talking about might be true. All those things when we know they're really not. Right? Healing rarely comes from trying harder. I always like to ask people, how's that working for you? They say, hey, Jeff, yeah, man, I just decided to focus on some new projects, expand my business, buy a business. I go back to school, start a relationship with multiple people, finding all this stuff, right? But how's it working? People don't need, right? Trying harder, that didn't work for me. I relate to all these things because this is the process I want to be, right? Try harder. No, man, it didn't work. Most people don't need more willpower. I thought I had the willpower to do whatever I could do to withstand what was going on, but I didn't, right? Because what I was doing was creating more pain, was creating more misery to myself. And her too, I'm sure, right? Come on, man, think about this stuff, right? So I needed something different because what I had figured out was not working. What's the new framework? I needed a framework like many of you might. I don't know for sure if you've done other things already and you like figured out, or you're doing some things and they're not working. Again, we're having a conversation. So if you're doing something that you figuring out is working, and you share it with us so other people can get there, right? But I want to give you something today, something I'm like, man, I believe in to be true today. I do it all the time. Mirror moment that helps you see the patterns, right? What am I really doing? Right? Not what you are disguising. But what are you really doing, man? And how is it making you feel? And what loops do you get caught up in when you're in that saving space, when you're in that self-destructive behavior, right? When you're doing things that you're like, man, you said you weren't going to do yesterday, but you're doing them again. Or you're blaming, right? You're not taking responsibilities. Blaming, not taking responsibility. That's all part of it too, right? Breaking that loop and the rebuild to come back. So we're already kind of giving you something else to think about right now, right? So let's keep moving. And let me know when you come through here, right, where you are in this piece, right? And so I like this part because it really gives us a chance to really chat. Right? So let me ask you, if I could help you find peace tomorrow. In other words, if I could help you avoid the things like what I was doing, right? Putting everything, all my focus, everything in trying to do, neglecting other things while I was trying to save something that was destined not to come back together, right? Or you fill in the blanks. I can find you peace though tomorrow. Give you a simple way to protect it and keep it. That's a yes or no question. So what is it for you? Drop it in the comment section when you're here. DM me, yes, Jeff, or no, Jeff. I'm cool. However it might be, I'm not judging, man. That is not what we're here to do today. We're here to kind of let you know that the journey is real. Right? And you mean something. Wherever you are, you still mean something. You are still worthy. Right? Don't give up on yourself, man. Come on now. Don't give up on yourself. So answer that question. A simple way to protect it and keep it. Peace. What would you say? Yes or no? These here, people are like, well, you really asking these questions? Yeah, I'm asking. Success won't heal what you refuse to face. What is that thing that you need to face? Is it the fact that you're at that second step where you need to let go? Or you're still trying and that's what you're going to do? And even though you're bumping your head and it's not working, you're not getting the results you want, but you keep showing up and you're still trying? Whatever that is, whatever piece you're in. Because you're built to lead, right? So you can fix things, you provide, protect. Ladies and gentlemen, talking to you both. You're built to lead, to take control of things, provide and protect, and still be emotionally whole, like nothing's bothering you, and everything just bounces off, right? External iron or steel, right? Whatever the face might be. Healing isn't soft, man. It's real leadership. Just a little quick message. Healing isn't soft. It's a real leadership. And you come back It's just not personal, man. Your comeback isn't. Your comeback is meant to help you explain your purpose wherever you want to end up on the other side of this. Right? Come on, it's about where do you want to end up on the other side of this. So I like that. You can't heal with your own face. I want you to be thinking about what is it that's popping up that you didn't want to face. For me, it was like she would, I'd ask and she'd say no, and I'd come back later and do some things. We'd hang out, and it would be no again. I didn't want to face the no. How many of us don't want to face the no? How many of us don't want to take the responsibility for our part? We want to continue to blame. I don't know. What is it? What do you refuse to face? It was your fault. It was my fault mostly. Owning that, taking that responsibility. Yes, you have kids involved. So now you're responsible for children that you may live in another house, a house that you bought, all those things. How are you behaving then? Fiscally responsible for the family. Your comeback isn't just personal, man. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Who are you going to be? Who are you going to be? So this little piece of our discussion is going to really kind of get you like, Jeff, you kind of sticking me a little bit. I told you that at the beginning, and I asked for permission, right? Because this is what I experienced in my process. You can't out-achieve what you won't heal. And I didn't want to let things go and begin the healing process, right? As long as you're pulling one direction, the healing process is delayed. As long as you are in a state of denial, the healing process is delayed. As long as you're in a state of not accepting responsibilities, not standing in your truth, the healing process is delayed. And you can't out-achieve unhealed pain. Man, I love to say that. You cannot out-achieve. In simple facts, you can't cover that up. You can't. It's just going to show up, man. You cannot cover it up. You cannot hide. You cannot achieve what you won't heal. If it's working, let me know. I mean, I'm just kind of having this chat. We're having a chat here. Performance becomes a mask. Silence becomes a prison. I mean, you're putting on that mask every day. You're going to work, building your business, starting your business, right? Expanding whatever you're doing. Taking care of the kids. Maybe you never worked before, and doing all those things tremendously, right? Because that's important. But man, what are we doing? Don't give up on ourselves. Because these things, when we're practicing this, we're really kind of giving up on ourselves. I was giving up on Jeff and didn't even know it for a while. Are you doing the same thing? Only you know that. So this will be something. If you're honest, you've been carrying things, and this question is intended for you to really think about some things long after we're gone. So whatever you decide to do with me, it's up to you. But I want you to think about it. If you're honest, you've been carrying things that you never processed. In other words, there's a lot of, for me, I had worked on a lot of things, but there were still some things in there that I hadn't resolved, that weren't processed. So it stacks, that neural stacking. It just stacks it and stacks it and stacks it. Some is good, some is bad. But never been processed, never been worked on, never been exposed. It's that carrying that sting in silence, like you're walking around suffering in silence. I talked about that earlier, man. I mean, come on now. But again, this is a conversation from the heart. I hope you know that. If you're honest, you've been carrying things away that you've never processed. Time to let that stuff go, baby. Time to let it go. Because my moment was like when I'm like, wow, I started to look at Jeff, like flip my thinking, man, because it was all feeding me. Man, you got to make it right. You got to fix it. You got to do this. You got to do that. All that stuff. exposing myself to more emotional pain, exposing her to more emotional pain. All of us, just crazy chaos. So there's got to be a better way, man. Right? Not just for myself, but for her too. Right? Space. She had to heal. He had to heal. My son, our son. Everybody. I'm trying to do all this stuff, man, blocking and everything, and it's not good, not healthy. I had to realize that, man, I had to face the mirror. The person looking back at me that was full of shame, full of guilt, right? Person that was in pain. Wasn't sure. I'm telling you guys, I was like, wow, I was like, my mom and dad were married. I'll tell this story for 44 or 5 years before my mom passed. And so I knew that it was possible. And they had a thriving marriage, right? They were meant to be together, right? And they decided that was their intention, man. So they raised 5 knucklehead kids, right? In a time when it was difficult, man. And they instilled in us, the goals and dreams and all things are possible in a relationship, right? All that. So I knew that the institution of marriage was real. And I could see what it took, right? So I was doing all this stuff. But then some things you don't do. And the walls begin to build, right? Come on now. So no image first. I had to realize, man, I needed something different, right? No grind, or stop feeling things in my day, stop ignoring things that I really needed to just sit and feel through, right? And let that emotion kind of just sit for a minute, process through, and rather than step on or step around or ignore, right? I mean, I talked about healing first. That became the priority, right? Don't give up on yourself. I was not ready to give up on myself, man. Don't you be ready to give up on yourself because when the inside gets healthy, look, here's the hit. All this is what we were talking about, but here's the real promise. When the inside starts to get healthy, baby, right, your comeback process gets lighter. When your inside starts to feel healthy, you begin to feel healthy. Your actions speak healthy. Your thoughts are more focused on healing rather than fixing. Healing rather than fixing. And the process starts to get lighter, right? You're not wrestling around in the bed as much at night. You're not rolling around, right? You're getting some peace in your life again, right? And, you're staying in the moment, right? I said my aha moment. I began to stay in the moments. It wasn't just one aha. There was a series. Some of them were really painful. Some of them were like necessary, right? So the mirror moment is where your high level results become your normal. I'm going to read that to you. And I want you to think about what I'm saying when I read it. The mirror moment is where high level results, which is what happens when you start to go away from trying to fix it, denying that you need to let it go and begin to let go. Accept letting go and begin to let go, and then going through the wounds and the grieving process, living at the best that you can. Those results become more normal. And when you're looking in the mirror now, you're not dodging from yourself. When you're looking in the mirror, you're like, oh yeah, all right, I see you, right? How'd you do today? Have that conversation with yourself about yourself. Man, this is simple. I'm just trying to tell you something that works. The mirror moment is where high level results become your normal. Looking for some more normal? So, and so this is where your comeback becomes real. This is how it was for me. I watched men and women transform when they stop hiding and start using a framework. So I began to put a framework together around things, right? And having the meetings and conversations with people who were going through what I had been through. And they're like, man, what do I do? I'm still trying to save it. Hey, yeah, she's telling me no, but I'm doing that, or he's telling me no, and I'm doing that, and here's how I finally started. There's a saying we say when and the group I belong to, when you stop letting go with claw march, holding on. Imagine holding on to the board of the school, just claw march, right? Hold on. Called a mirror moment. I watched men and women transform when they stopped hiding, started using some framework, some things that were different, and it was a mirror moment. So first thing is about awareness, releasing it, releasing all that rhetoric, the old narratives, the old behaviors, one at a time. Yeah, all gonna go away. Begin to pick one a day, right? One right now. What's one that you can release right now that's been causing you a lot of pain and grief, man? And begin to think about rebuild. What's that rebuild look like? So ARR, awareness, release, and rebuild. And it all starts by looking in the mirror. Because I've been in leadership, man, for human development for over 45 years. So it was always about developing, encouraging. Now it's about developing something new for me, encouraging myself, right? Finding peace from the things that we work with other people, man, for 47 years. So in other words, I'm talking to you about helping people get through the loss of careers, helping people get through loss of spouses while they have the career, or loss of loved ones, all these things that are going on, man. Men and women. And look, what worked for me and what works still today is a safe space. Speak the truth. That's the tricky piece, right? That truth is diluted with some rationalizations and justifications. We rationalize what our behaviors are either about to be or what we've already done. So we kind of just dismiss it and then justify it in ways that only we believe, because anybody else listening knows it's crazy, right? I'm just talking about Jeff, right? So let me keep moving here, right? So you guys get it, right? So I've been in a leadership and human development for 45 years. And first relationship was 20-something years. And so I'm telling you, I spent some time in the grind, work with men and women. I've been seeing this thing: space, truth, and framework. Here we go, baby. The mirror moment, the 3-step framework processing. This page, let's just talk about each one of these really quickly, and then you can kind of talk about them later on if you continue to stay with us, or we can have conversations around whatever you might have a question on. So look, face the mirror. I've been talking about this the whole time, right? The mirror moment, right? Looking in the mirror, man. Face the mirror. And what's that do? That creates some awareness. You can't deny, you can't dodge it, right? You're looking back at yourself. You know what you've done, right? You know what you've done or what you're about to do. So what's it saying there? Name the patterns. What triggers you? Is it looking, back then I wasn't on technology, so I wasn't Facebook or none of that stuff. So were you driving around the house? Or are you calling and hanging up? Right? What are the triggers? Are you hearing some old, been by a place that you two used to go to a lot? Whatever that trigger is, right? And then how do you behave after that? And the story you keep rehearsing. I remember when. How many I remember wins have you had? Drop it in the comment section. Let me know. I remember when. What? What did you remember? Man, facing the mirror. Awareness, number 1. Number 2, break the loop. Right? Stop it. If you I encourage you today. Right? I want you to do something. And in the next 24 hours, I will not do, and then fill in the blank. Something that you've been doing. In the next 24 hours, I promise to myself and to Jeff, I will not call and hang up. I will not drive by. I will not plot some story in the kid's head to create chaos. I will not. What is it? And then you do that. One thing, man. Look at the promises about the possibilities that in the next 24 hours, when you are breaking that loop and right, releasing yourself from those behaviors. Now, what does it say in there? Separate shame from the truth. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Grieve. Stand in the grieving process, right? There's loss and grieving, man. That's a real thing. But the gift and the power and the freedom comes from that. Let go of the old script. Don't. And yeah, you might let it go and pick it up. That's okay. Cut yourself some slack, right? We're human. We're not perfect. This is the new thing, right? Because we faced the mirror. We looked at the mirror. We're aware of what we are. We're aware of what we're doing to ourselves. We've admitted that we won't do it again. Right? I'm laughing because you know how that goes. I mean, it'll take us a couple times to really get there. And then 2, breaking the loop. And the third piece of it, baby, is to build the comeback. Because we're either in the comeback in life, whether it's in this divorce process or whatever else in your life. So we're either in the comeback, knee deep, finishing it up, right? What am I talking about? Well, in this case, it's a marriage and or divorce, your personal life, her life, everybody. Resetting, rebuilding, refocusing, clutter, chaos everywhere, right? Build the comeback. Rebuilding, install identity. Woo! Right? You no longer see yourself as a victim. You no longer see yourself as the saved, the divorced person. You no longer see yourself subjecting yourself to painful situations. You see yourself standing boldly, but yet fearful. You see yourself standing brave, but not sure. But you're making some things, creating a new pattern in your life. Right? And that pattern process is dynamic, man. Right? And when we begin to get into this piece of our mind, we've already looked at the awareness. We already start breaking the old habits. And now we're rebuilding the comeback. Right? Boundaries. We're setting boundaries on. We put boundaries around ourselves. Because we usually are. I was my worst enemy. I'll just talk about you. Where are you? Right. So this piece of 1, 2, and 3, we can talk a whole lot about that, but I'm gonna move on from here. But let me ask you this question. Which one of these are you in right now? Facing the mirror, needing to break the loops, ready to build the comeback? Put it in the comment section when you realize where you are and let me know. If you're not sure, then hit me up later on. Let's talk about it, right? So we're kind of getting down to the end of it. So I know I've kind of maybe talked around some things a little longer than I should have, but has the time we spent together been valuable? Listening to what I'm talking about, thinking about, encouraging you to think through some things. Has this been valuable? I certainly hope it has been, because I speak to you from my heart, right? And if it is, put it in the chat. The word mirror in the chat. This is hitting home. And look, this was only about an hour. I mean, it's going to end up probably being about an hour by the time we get finished. And I want to ask you, do you want to join me for 90 minutes breaking down the mirror moment? Right? Really spending some time asking you questions, really kind of talking about some real stories that we don't want to take up time to talk about today, right? But really just kind of getting down to the pieces, taking those pieces and beginning to discard what needs to be discarded, keep what needs to be kept, and begin the rebuilding process piece by piece. So I want to introduce you. I've got something. You guys knew what was coming, right? Yeah, I got it. Listen, I've got the mirror moment, a magnificent comeback, right? What is your mirror moment, magnificent comeback? I want you to just think about what I'm going to say to you through this process and envision yourself. Envision yourself where you fit into this, right? The mirror moment, man. So you've been through these other things. You've become aware of some things. You've stopped the rehearsals on it. And now you understand the power of how you can rebuild yourself. So we got a 90-minute workshop, 90-minute live workshop where we spend time together. Everybody's on camera and we're talking back and forth and we're doing some homework ahead of time, right? And you're doing these things to kind of open ourselves up. Right, so 90-minute live workshop, man, in that mirror moment, step-by-step coaching. We're going to talk about those 3 things. And each one of us will be able to write down in our own space and our own things what it is for us, what it's impacting us, what are we carrying, what do we need to let go of, right? That's just on the surface, some top things like that, right? And we really kind of get into, man, this is important. Hear me when I say this. We've started to build that comeback, right? What's that comeback look like? When I was like, first, man, I was like, why am I putting this comeback piece in here? Because I wasn't sure. I knew I needed to work on Jam. That much I knew. But I wasn't certain how, what to do first, right? What to do second, what not to do, right? Who to talk to, who not to, all that. So we kind of outline that stuff, man. So we had first 90 minutes when we come in here and we talk it up and we have two-way feats about it and the mirror moment, step-by-step coaching with some prompts. So you're going to get some different exercises. Look, I want you, like today, I want you to hear me when I say my promise to you is if you are really in one of those three phases, and that fourth phase when you're ready to come, then you're going to understand when I tell you that it's possible that you no longer have to live in that space. Starting tonight, starting whenever you heard this, you can be free. You can have some peace in the pause. Right? Look in the mirror first. Before you start to do something, I don't care, grab your phone, look in there and look in the eyes of the person looking back at you. You can do that all the time while you're by yourself all the time. So what are you going to do before you're actually going to take a look at yourself? And then we create this next part, this 60-day comeback map, right? We're going to talk about what that comeback's going to look like for you. And you're going to be working together. We'll go through it on the awareness. We're going to write down all the triggers. We're going to identify all the things that you've been going through and what you have been in denial about, what you haven't accepted. Right? Really kind of dive deep down in all that stuff right there at the beginning, man. So when you come out, you can say, oh, okay. Have a clear picture of who you are today. And more importantly, on how you kind of led to where you ended up being divorced, right? So there's two benefits in that stuff. So comeback map, my identity and the boundaries that you have to set for yourself, we get to set for ourselves. I was so grateful for when I realized, man, I could help myself by putting some protection around me so that I wouldn't, if I didn't expose myself, right? If I wasn't calling, if I wasn't stopping by, if I wasn't offering all these things, chances are that I'm going to find something else to do with myself. And that's where the healing part came in, right? I chose Jeff when I wanted to choose her. Choose you when you want to choose him or her, right? Setting those boundaries. Oh, man, boundaries are amazing. Amazing. Wow. And daily practices around that after you set the boundaries. So this is just kind of resetting, man, getting you prepped up, right? So 60-day comeback map, it includes a mirror moment worksheet. And that worksheet, you got to do some work. Listen, you got to do some work, folks. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen any other way, right? But I work with you, right? I'm not gonna give you something to go online. We're gonna go through this stuff together, man, right? And if we don't have the ability to connect with everybody, I'll make sure, because I know that I'm talking about making comebacks right now, not later. Right now, right? 90 minutes in the workshop. Man, we're going to come in hustling. You're going to do some work before we get there. We're going to get busy. Step by step. Includes the mirror worksheet and the King Kong. Right? So who's ready to do some work? I know I am. Look at the price, man. It's $47. This is $1,000 value all day long for $47. And people say, well, $47, why is that $47? Well, can't do it for free. I just can't, it's almost free at $47, man. But you have to make some commitment. I just believe that, right? Because you may show up for $47. I know you would show out. I really was like my wife and I were back, Yeah, thank her for $47, man. So you register DM me with an email for registration and VIP because I got something special for you, right? Come on, don't lose. Stay with me, right? So you know what we got here for $47, $1,000 value plus, right? Plus. Now look at this VIP access. Listen, access to mirror movement training and recording. So everything we do, you get lifetime access to the recordings, right? And also we generally have some little private community, right, which you can stay connected to, right? That community is important, man. Going from isolation to community, right? Going from suffering in silence to being free, right? A 60-minute discovery call. Everybody that signs up gets a 60-minute call from me. Before we do the call, before we do this workshop, right? So you got time to go from the call, do some work, and when you come into the workshop, man, you're ready. That's powerful. I'm gonna tell you again, 60-minute call, workshop with me after the call. A 30-day accountability follow-up plan, which we'll talk about in that call, kind of what that will look like. You know, accountability is powerful, very powerful tool. How many of you have accountability partners? I have a halfway accountability partner, right? I got to get a full-time accountability partner. If you don't have one, I want you to think about this for a second. How many times have you said something this week or when you've heard this message, the last week, that you were going to do, but you didn't do? And how often has that happened? So I want you to think about being accountable for your word. So for me, when I started that, I had to stop saying all the things that I was going to do because I wanted to be careful that I stopped lying to myself. Because that's what happens. Right? So what am I saying all this about accountability? You can start with yourself. Don't make this big old list about all these things you're going to do, about what you're supposed to do or whatever that is. Write down what you can feel accountable for, what you will do for the day. Not a whole bunch of other stuff. And then do that. And I want you to practice that for 7 days. Right? This is outside this game. This is what you get from me, right? Practice that. Because look, I was tired, sick and tired of telling myself I was going to do something and I didn't do it. That is the most debilitating thing that we can do to ourselves. Right? And we have a whole course around how to prevent that from happening. Right? So anyway, accountability follow-up plan value at $997. The 60-minute call is $1,000. The mirror movement training is $400 or $500. So what are we at? $2,500 already, right? But the VIP access to the summit from Heartbreaks to Healing. We offer summits throughout the year, and we bring in speakers that are experts in this area about pathways to healing, right? From PhDs to self-trained to everything in between there. So I'm bound to get you something that you can take away. That listen, because you ain't got to go nowhere. It's part of your package, right? We have some powerful going from sexless marriages, brother, doctor around sexless marriages and all the things that happen around that to plenty of sex, but no conversation, marriages, right? To the middle of no sex, no conversation marriages, to how to be a better person, right? I mean, working on ourselves individually. I mean, all of the psychotics around all of that stuff, right? Come on, man. Big value, all part of that. That's like 1900s, just big value. That alone, $2,000 value, man. They can give away free gifts so you get access to the gifts, right? Whatever summit that we provide for you, we make sure that they give you the free gift. Man, because I want you to understand that you mean something. And self-love is the key, right? We already know that. So the promise is the practice of being with somebody that can love on you until you can love yourself. I'm going to say it again. Being in space where people can love on you, where you can learn to like yourself. Some may be further than others around this piece I'm talking to you about. Some may be, okay, man, I've Forgiving myself, because you got to do that first, right? You got to have some acceptance for what happened and some forgiveness around there and surrender even more before all these other things happen, right? So, I mean, there's two or three things you got to do, right? And you get to that and you start to like yourself again. And then, man, all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you're like, boy, I love you. I love me some Jeff, right? Just for today, I love me some Jeff. You're going to be that person. That's the real promise, man. The self-love is so important. So, VIP access. I'm going to go through it again. Mirror moment training, recordings. So you're going to get that lifetime access to that 60-minute discovery call, man. And that discovery call, look, I'm coming prepared. So you come to that call, man, and I'm going to tell you something, right? That call, man, I live for those calls, right? Because I know that's the only shot I have at you. For real, for real. So let's do it together, man. Come on, let's talk about it together. Women or men, right? Bonus 30-day accountability follow-up plan, which we were able to put together after that. Hold some accountability to you and the VIP access to the summits. All that stuff. For those registering a DM with the email from today's date, right? I'm doing this again from today's date. You register now. Fast Action VIP price is free. Now, we've got several of these promotions going on between now and the end, because the event's going to be the first week or second week in March. I want to figure out what that date is, tell you what that is, so you get this thing. So you want to make sure that you get it now. What are you going to do? You're going to DM Jeff. You're going to say VIP registration for today's date, and then you're going to make that investment in $47. Right? I'll send you how you can do that. Right? So what are you going to do? You're going to email me, VIP, DM me with your email, and I will send you the next steps. And if you really, those of you who will say, hey, Jeff, man, I need to get a hold of you, drop your phone number in there. I'll make sure that we get that, and we'll get a call out to you. I'm going to offer that. Anybody that does this and drops their phone number with the DM piece of it, with I'm ready email, and you drop your phone number in there, man, we will schedule a call. Right? We will schedule a call. Right? Because, look, I know how important it is, man, the freedom. I want to give you some freedom from yourself. Right? All right, let's see. Oh, just to wrap up, the offer one more time, man. It's a phenomenal offer. The mirror moment, a magnificent comeback. Magnificent is a strong word, baby, but I believe it, right? Because we're already magnificent. We just need to be reminded of it. We just need to learn how to love ourselves one more time, right? So 90-minute live workshop where we do the work. We roll our sleeves up like I got mine. We come in there and we get busy doing some work. The mirror moment, step-by-step coaching, those three pieces that you saw, breaking them down. You got to do some, right? We'll send out some stuff beforehand so you come into the meeting ready to do that. The 30-day comeback king map, right? Or queen. And that map is clear identity, how you see yourself currently, why you see yourself that way, and how you'd like to be. And the boundaries that you're going to set around that, right? You're seeing this, but you got to have some protection around it to get there, right? Right. So boundaries around the identity, that new identity, and some practices, right? We're going to develop that new muscle. What's the new muscle? The self-love muscle, baby. We're going to develop that self-love muscle. And it includes a mirror moment worksheet on top of that, all that for $47. And for the fast action, folks, you get the VIP upgrade. So what are you going to do? You're going to DM me. Listen, DM me with your email. And for those of you that want an extra bonus call, right? But anybody that puts an email in there, phone number, and we get your payment, I will give you an extra call, an extra hour call. Come on, man, free, right? And we can speak about what it is that's really important to you. I won't pick the subject. I even let you pick the subject. So what are you getting? You're gonna get it. You DM me with the email. We reach out to you, right? Email, phone number, if that's what you really want to do. Get that bonus, that extra call, that extra $1,000 call for free, right? And then what? Register for VIP upgrade, all that stuff. Get this out. Get it done now. Stop making excuses for it. Let's just do it. It's $47. And please, please, please hear me when I tell you, this is the 20, what is the day today? The 22nd of February. Midnight. I'm going to give y'all till midnight on this, man. So anybody that does that, right, email, phone number, and when I get hold of you, be ready to kind of line up $47. Please don't waste my time. I'm not going to waste yours, right? Let's get that $47 in, get you scheduled for the call. If you're leaving your phone number, right, free call, man. And then that free call, I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be you and me, right? And anybody that knows me, when I'm in that space, man, I understand how important it is. That's a gift. You are giving me a gift to be able to talk to you in that hour time, right? All right, so listen, $47, register, DM me with your email and phone number. You get the free VIP upgrade, all the things I talked to you about. I really just want to remove the excuses because the mere moment, a magnificent comeback is a real thing, right? And I'd like you to think about this. You don't have to be ready, right? You don't have to be ready. I ain't asking you to be ready. I ain't asking you to do a whole bunch of other things. One thing, one promise is I'm going to show up, right? I'm going to show up and we're going to show out together. So what are you going to do? I already said, I think it's DM me with the email address and your phone number if you want that extra call that falls off by midnight tonight. Right? Don't be playing, hey, Jeff, on the, because the timeline don't lie. Right? The timeline don't lie. So do that for me. So you don't have to be ready for the full process. Let's just stay connected. And my promise to you is this, that I've been where you are in either one of these phases. And I tried like hell to keep it. I hurt like hell to let it go. I was scared of what's next. But I sit here today, and here's the hit for you. I sit here today, man, 15 years into a beautiful marriage, a woman that has provided, she came with a daughter, so I got a package deal, right? And our daughter is married with children, and I'm a grandfather, and having the ability. So that's what you're looking for. It's possible, baby. And that's one of the reasons why they call me the Comeback King. Because like you, when we set our mind to something, we go and make it happen. So I want to tell you, your comeback starts now. Let's do this thing together. Let's rise together. So last and most importantly, DM me with your email address and your phone number if you want the extra free call up until midnight at 2/22/26, right? That's an extra $1,000 value on top of all the other values you're getting, like $47. Let's do this thing. It's your time now. I look forward to talking to you. Have a great day. And remember, you are worthy. You matter. Your comeback starts now. Let's rise, baby. Take care.